I went to the airport thinking it would be just another ordinary day. The sky was still painted with the soft colors of dawn when I stepped out of the taxi. The air smelled of jet fuel and early morning coffee. People hurried past me with rolling suitcases, their faces carrying different emotions: excitement, nervousness, sadness, hope. Airports are strange places. They are filled with both beginnings and endings. I wasn't traveling. I was there to say goodbye. My younger sister, Anika, had received a scholarship to study in Canada. For months, our house had been buzzing with preparation: documents, shopping lists, packing, relatives visiting to give blessings. Everyone was proud of her. I was proud too. But that morning, pride felt heavy. Inside the terminal, the bright lights reflected off the shiny floors. Announcements echoed above us. Flight BG305 now boarding. The words blended together, but each one reminded me that time was moving forward, whether I was ready or not. Anika walked beside me, holding her passport tightly as if it might disappear. She tried to look brave, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She had never been away from home for more than a week. "Are you okay?" I asked softly. She smiled. "I think so. Are you?" I didn't answer. We reached the check-in counter. After weighing her luggage and tagging it, the airline staff handed her boarding pass. That small piece of paper suddenly felt powerful. It meant she was really leaving. We sat together in the waiting area. Around us, families were hugging, children were crying, couples were whispering promises. I watched a mother fixing her son's collar one last time before he walked toward security. I felt a lump in my throat. "You'll call me every day, right?" I said, trying to sound strict. "Every day," she promised. "And you will take care of Ma and Baba." I nodded. Since our father's health had started declining, I had taken more responsibility at home. Anika's departure meant I would have to be even stronger. She was not just my sister, she was my best friend, my late-night storyteller, my secret keeper. At each other. Then she hugged me tightly. "I'm scared," she whispered into my shoulder. "It's okay to be scared," I replied. "It means you're about to do something big." Tears slipped down her cheeks, and I wiped them away. I wanted to cry too, but I didn't. Someone had to stay strong. She walked toward the security gate. Halfway there, she turned around and waved. I forced myself to smile and waved back. And then she disappeared. Just like that. I stood there long after she was gone, staring at the empty space where she had been. The airport felt louder now, but inside me, there was silence. I decided to leave, but as I walked toward the exit, something unexpected happened. An elderly man near the seating area suddenly collapsed. People gasped. A few stepped back in shock. Without thinking, I ran toward him. Years ago, I had taken a basic first aid course at college. My hands trembled, but I remembered what to do. "Call for medical assistance," I shouted. A security guard rushed to inform the airport medical team. I checked the man's pulse. It was weak, but there. He was breathing, though unevenly. I gently positioned him on his side and tried to keep him conscious. "Sir, can you hear me?" I asked. His eyes fluttered open for a second. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and took over. They thanked me for helping. As they wheeled him away, a young woman ran toward us, crying. "Dadu! Dadu!" she screamed. She must have been his granddaughter. One of the paramedics explained that he would be taken to the nearest hospital. The girl looked at me with tearful eyes. "Did you help him?" she asked. I nodded. "Thank you," she said, her voice breaking. He's all I have. Her words struck me deeply. He's all I have. I had just let my sister fly thousands of miles away. I felt like I had lost something. But this girl was fighting not to lose the only family she had left. Suddenly, my pain felt different. Airports are not just places of goodbye. They are places where life changes in seconds. As I stepped outside the terminal, the sun had fully risen. The golden light sprayed across the sky, bright and warm. Planes roared above me, carrying dreams, fears, and stories. I checked my phone. A message from Anika popped up. "I'm inside the plane. I love you." I smiled and replied, "I love you more. Go chase your dreams." Standing there, I realized something important. Sometimes we go to the airport to say goodbye. Sometimes we go to watch someone leave. But sometimes, without knowing, we go there to learn a lesson. That day, I learned that love doesn't disappear with distance. It grows stronger. I learned that being strong doesn't mean not crying. It means standing up when someone needs you. And I learned that life moves forward, whether we are ready or not. I went to the airport thinking it would be just another ordinary day. But I came back home a little braver, a little wiser, and a little more grateful for the people I still had beside me. And somewhere above the clouds, my sister was flying toward her future, while I was learning how to let go. The house felt different the moment I returned. It was strange how one person's absence could change the atmosphere so completely. Anika's laughter was missing. Her messy books were gone. Even the hallway seemed quieter, as if it knew she wasn't coming back anytime soon. Ma was sitting on the sofa, pretending to watch television. Baba was in his room, resting. When Ma saw me, she quickly wiped her eyes. "She boarded safely," I said gently. "She texted me." Ma nodded. "Alhamdulillah." That night, I lay awake longer than usual. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. "It's snowing." Anika sent a photo from the airplane window as they prepared to land. White clouds blended into white ground. She added a laughing emoji and wrote, "I think I'm already freezing." I smiled at the screen. For the first time that day, the ache in my chest softened. The days that followed were busy. I had more responsibilities now. I handled Baba's medical appointments, helped Ma with groceries, and managed my own job at the same time. Sometimes I felt overwhelmed, but I remembered what I told Anika at the airport. It's okay to be scared. She called every night, just as she promised. Her stories were full of new experiences. Her small dorm room, her roommate from Brazil, the giant campus library, the unfamiliar food. She described everything in detail, as if she wanted me to see it through her eyes. But one evening, her voice sounded different. "I don't think I fit in here," she said quietly. "Everyone speaks so fast. They all seem so confident. I feel small." I leaned back in my chair, remembering the fear in her eyes at the airport. "You're not small," I said firmly. "You're just new. Give yourself time." "What if I fail?" "You won't. And even if you stumble, you'll stand up again. You didn't come this far to quit." There was silence on the line. Then she whispered, "I'm glad I have you." After we hung up, I realized something. At the airport, I thought I was the strong one letting her go. But now, we were both learning to be strong in different ways. 2 weeks later, something unexpected happened. I received a phone call from an unknown number. "Hello, is this the person who assisted an elderly man at the airport last month?" a polite voice asked. "Yes," I replied, surprised. "I'm calling from the hospital. The patient, Mr. Rahman, has recovered well. His granddaughter would like to meet you and thank you properly." For a moment, I was speechless. I hadn't thought much about that day after it happened. I simply did what anyone would do. We arranged to meet at a small cafe near the hospital. When I arrived, I recognized her immediately. The same worried eyes, but this time filled with relief. "My grandfather is doing much better," she said with a grateful smile. "The doctor said if you hadn't acted so quickly, it could have been worse." Her words sent a chill through me. We talked for a while. Her name was Sarah. She worked part-time while studying, taking care of her grandfather since her parents had passed away years ago. "I was so scared that day," she admitted. "I thought I was about to lose him." I understood that fear, the fear of losing someone who is your whole world. Before leaving, she handed me a small box of homemade sweets. "It's not much," she said shyly, "but please accept it." I did. As I walked home, I realized how strange life is. I had gone to the airport to say goodbye to someone I love, and in that same place, I had unknowingly helped someone hold on to the person they loved most. Months passed. Annika slowly found her rhythm. She joined a study group, she made friends, she sent pictures of her first snowfall, her university ID card, and even her first attempt at cooking rice, which turned into a disaster. We laughed about it for hours. One evening, she video called us with exciting news. "I got an A in my first semester," she shouted. Ma cried tears of joy. Baba smiled proudly.
I felt something warm inside me. Not just happiness, but a quiet sense of achievement. Not because I had done anything extraordinary, but because I had stayed strong when it mattered. Later that night, Anika and I talked privately. "Do you remember that day at the airport?" she asked. "How could I forget?" "I almost turned back," she confessed. "When I looked at you, I wanted to run back and say I wasn't ready. My heart skipped." "But you didn't," I said. "No," she smiled, "because you looked so confident. I thought if you believe I can do this, maybe I really can." Her words stunned me. I hadn't felt confident that day. I had felt broken. But sometimes strength isn't about how we feel. It's about what we show others when they need it most. A year later, I found myself standing at the airport again. This time, I wasn't there to say goodbye. I was there to welcome her home for her semester break. The arrival gate doors slid open, and passengers began walking out one by one. My heart pounded. And then I saw her. She looked different, more mature, more confident. But her smile was the same. She ran toward me, and I hugged her tightly. "You did it," I whispered. "No," she replied softly. "We did it." As we walked out of the airport together, I looked around at the crowd once more. Arrivals, departures, tears, laughter. I understood now. The airport wasn't just a place of goodbye. It was a place of growth. The day I went to the airport, I thought I was losing something. But in reality, I was gaining something far more powerful, faith in the people I love and faith in myself. And this time, as we stepped into the sunlight together, it didn't feel like an ending. It felt like a new beginning. Anika's semester break passed faster than any of us expected. The house felt alive again. Her laughter echoed through the rooms. She argued with Ma about spices in the curry. She teased Baba about his old-fashioned phone. And at night, we stayed up talking about everything, her classes, my work, the future. But deep down, we all knew something. She would have to leave again. This time, the goodbye felt different. It wasn't filled with fear like before. It wasn't heavy with uncertainty. Instead, it carried something quieter, understanding. The morning of her departure, the sky was clear and bright, almost the same as the first time I had taken her to the airport. Only this time, we were both stronger. At the terminal entrance, she looked at me and smiled. No crying today. I wasn't planning to, I said, pretending to be serious. Inside, the airport buzzed with its usual rhythm, rolling suitcases, boarding calls, hurried footsteps. But I no longer felt lost in the noise. I felt calm. While waiting near the check-in counter, Anika suddenly asked, "Have you ever thought about doing something bigger?" "What do you mean?" I asked. "You're always taking care of everyone. Baba, Ma, even strangers." She paused. "But what about your dreams?" Her question caught me off guard. I had been so focused on supporting her that I hadn't allowed myself to think beyond daily responsibilities. My world had become smaller while helping hers grow larger. "I don't know," I admitted honestly. "You should," she said softly. "You deserve more too." Her words stayed with me. After she completed check-in and received her boarding pass, we sat quietly. There was no desperate clinging this time, just peaceful acceptance. When the boarding announcement came, she hugged Ma and Baba first. Then she turned to me. "You know," she whispered, "I'm not scared anymore." "I know," I replied. "And neither am I." She walked toward security, confident and steady. She turned once, waved, and disappeared beyond the gate. But this time, I didn't feel like something had been taken away. I felt inspired. A few weeks later, I made a decision that surprised even myself.
I applied for a professional training program in another city, a course I had once dreamed about but never pursued. It meant stepping out of my comfort zone. It meant leaving Ma and Baba for short periods. It meant trusting that they would be okay without me constantly nearby. When I told Anika over video call, her eyes lit up. "Yes, finally," she cheered. "It's your turn." I laughed. "Maybe I'm a little scared." "Good," she said. "That means you're about to do something big." Those were my own words, reflected back at me. Months later, I found myself at the airport again. But this time, I was holding a boarding pass with my own name on it. Ma held my hand tightly. Baba gave me advice for the 10th time. And Anika, joining us through a video call from thousands of miles away, said, "Look at you." I looked around at the familiar place. The bright lights, the announcements, the endless movement. This airport had seen my sadness, my fear, my courage, and my growth. I remembered the elderly man I helped. I remembered Sarah's grateful eyes. I remembered my sister's trembling hands on her first departure. And now, I stood there not as someone saying goodbye, but as someone ready to begin. When my flight was called, I hugged Ma and Baba. "Take care of yourselves," I said. "We will," Ma replied, "just like you always take care of us." As I walked towards security, I felt my heart beating fast. Not from sadness, from possibility. Halfway to the gate, I stopped and turned around. They were still there, waving at me. I smiled widely and waved back. And for the first time, I truly understood something. The airport was never about leaving people behind. It was about trusting that love doesn't break with distance. It stretches. It strengthens. It waits. As I boarded the plane and looked out the window, the runway lights glowed beneath the evening sky. The engines roared to life. I took a deep breath. The plane began to move. I went to the airport once to say goodbye. I went again to welcome someone home. And now, I was going to discover my own sky. The wheels lifted off the ground, and the city grew smaller beneath me. But my world had never felt bigger.